This week's parsha is the double parsha Nitzavim VaYelech. We start off by reading about how every single person of Israel, will participate in the making and renewal of the covenant with God. The Torah then lists out all those who will be making or renewing this covenant, listing at the end from the woodcutters to the water carriers. Why does Moshe specifically mention these professions in his list? The Midrash Tanchuma comments that Moshe was hinting about future events. The wood choppers and water carriers were the Givonim who would come in the time of Yeshua. The Givonim came from Canaan in order to convert and forge a peace treaty with Israel. Regrettably, the Givonim came under false pretenses trying to deceive Yeshua, as they knew that Israel was not supposed to allow any one of the 7 Canaanite nations to survive. After discovering their deception too late, Yeshua punished the Givonim for their deception and made them become the wood choppers and water carriers of the nation. In a similar vein, Rashi says that Moshe wasn't referring to future events, but was referring to another group of people similar to the Givonim, who came from Canaan to make peace with Israel. Moshe didn't accept them as converts, but assigned them to be the wood choppers and water carriers for the nation. Most other commentators do not take the view that listing the professions of woodcutters and water carriers has to do with future or unreported events. Sforno says that in general, Moshe in these verses was enumerating the people from the greatest, the heads of state, down to the least, the woodcutters and water carriers. Moshe listed all different categories of people to reinforce how he had started the parsha. Atem Nitzavim hayom kulachem. You, all of you, are standing here today, showing that truly everyone was gathering together to make this covenant with God. As to why Moshe phrased it from the woodcutter to the water carrier, it was dealing with the most menial of jobs and people who were considered to be at the lowest levels of society. The Nitziv says that Moshe mentioning the woodcutter and water carrier was meant to give examples of types of work. A woodcutter is referring to very hard work. It is not enough to just use one's strength to chop at a tree. It requires finesse and technique. Otherwise, a person can be unsuccessful in chopping down the tree, or even worse, hurt themselves in the process. In contrast, a water carrier, while also needing strength and stamina, is a job that is very easy to do. There is no skill to develop in order to carry water. Dat Zakanim sees it similar to the Nitziv. However, he says it is clearly not referring to categories of work, but to types of people, as the verse is dealing with people and not with jobs. In his view, the woodcutters are the male slaves, and the water carriers are the maidservants. Whichever way of looking at it, by listing all different categories, Moshe is stressing to Israel that every person of Israel is part of the covenant with God. The nation as a whole is you, a unit made up of many different parts. It doesn't matter who you are or what part of the puzzle you play, you are still an honored part of the mosaic called Israel, and you are an integral part of making the covenant with God. Shabbat Shalom.